The thing that's funny there is the Bible says that when Daniel heard the decree, he went and opened up his windows and kept on doing what he normally does.
Yes, he did.
When he heard it.
Sometimes we're too busy watching the news and what the forecasters say.
Well, all right now.
Sometimes we're too worried about the report from the doctor. Sometimes we're worried about the news coming down the street. Sometimes our ears spends too much time listening to the naysayers. But I wonder, is there anybody still asking, is there a word from the Lord? Is there anybody that wants to hear what God has to say about the matter? The Bible says King Darius, he wanted to deliver Daniel.
Yeah.
But he couldn't go back on his decree. Verse 14 says the king was deeply troubled and spent the rest of the day trying to figure out how to save Daniel from this predicament. He spent the day trying, he spent the night fasting. And the situation just did not get better.
Did not get better.
But you got to understand there's a problem of the Lord King here. You see, in this day, the people believed that the king was deity, that the king was God or in the place of God, and he was incapable of making error.
Right.
So for him to go back and change the law that he enacted would be to say that somehow the law was flawed.
Yes.
And if the law was flawed, then the one who enacted the law must also himself be flawed and lack wisdom.
All right.
Therefore, to say face with the people, Darius could not change his creed.
All right.
There will be some situations that face the people of God from which no president or dignitary, no doctor, no lawyer, no wealth or no fame can deliver. It happens because life happens. Sometimes they're tests of faith or attacks of the enemy. But there are just some things that are decreed in the heavens that nobody else can do anything about, no matter how much they try.
All right.
And in those situations, where do we turn?
Hallelujah.
What do we do? Who do we turn to?
Yes.
See, I faced one of those situations back on July 2nd of 2008.
All right.
July 2nd, 2008. Just 8 days after my little baby girl, Olivia, was born.
Amen.
We'd given birth, we had come home, and life continued as normal. And all of a sudden that night, we got up to check on the baby. She had been crying. We laid down to bed. There were no premonitions. There were no warnings. There were no pain. There were no problems. There were no struggles. We got up to check on the baby about 11:30, and my wife, Meredith, came behind me. And she had her hand on her pulse, and she said, something's wrong. My heart's racing. Well, I thought she had just jumped up. She'd just given birth a few days before. Perhaps it was her blood pressure.
Yes, Lord.
I thought that perhaps it was anxiety, something she had faced previously. And so I simply said, let's just go sit back on the bed and calm down.
Amen.
And I followed her right across the hallway to our bed, and I began to ask her what the problem was. But before I could get much of anything else out of my mouth, her eyes rolled in the back of her head. She started gasping and she collapsed back on the bed, suffering what I would later find out was a massive heart attack that took her life.
My God.
And here it is, the first responder, who's normally the one responding to the 911 calls, picking up the phone and dialing 911. If I had time, I'd let you listen to the tape.
My God.
Hallelujah.
You're hearing that 9 minutes as I began to do chest compressions on her, CPR. I prayed and I called out to God.
Hallelujah.
As the paramedics came, they began to work on her. And I picked up the phone quickly and called my parents and my in-laws, and I just said, plead the blood. I don't know what's going on, just plead the blood.
Yes, Lord.
And the paramedics shocked her one time
Oh, my God.
and 2 times, just like you see on TV, and her body would rise up off the ground.
Yeah.
There was no response whatsoever.
Oh, my God.
And I felt the Lord at first. And I went and got my bottle of anointing oil, and I came back.
All right.
And I anointed her feet, and I prayed. And then I heard the Lord say, go get your Bible. And I went and I grabbed my Bible. And I came back. And listen, I'm not all about shenanigans and hoax and all of these types of things, but all I know is this: I laid my feet on her Bible. And I said, Lord, your word is life, and I need a miracle. Where is the God of my father.
Hallelujah.
Where are the miracles that they told us about?
Yes, Lord.
Paramedics shocked her the 4th time and no response, but then suddenly the 5th time,
Hallelujah.
heartbeat came back.
All right.
But you got to understand, it had been 15 minutes
Yes, Lord.
that her heart had not been beating and she had not been breathing.
Jesus.
They would end up shocking her another 4 times, 9 times total.
My Lord.
Because of every time they moved her, the agitation would stop her heart. We got her to the hospital in Cleveland and they put her in a helicopter and flew her to Erlanger Hospital, just right down the road.
Yes, Lord.
They went in and they explained she had had a heart attack from a blood clot that had developed from a tear in that artery.
Yes, Lord.
They went in and they put a stent in and got it opened back up.
All right.
Hallelujah.
The doctor came in and he said, "Your wife will not live.
All right now.
Oh,
But if by some chance she does, she's going to have significant brain damage.
Lord Jesus.
Don't take my word for it. It's documented. There's somebody that was here that very next morning. They said we're going to put her on life support.
My Jesus. My
We'll put her under cooling blankets.
My Jesus.
We'll lower her core body temperature to 92 degrees to try to reduce the swelling of her brain.
Yes,
And we'll just see what happens.
My God. My God. My
You ever been in that holding pattern?
Holding
that waiting
pattern.
pattern?
I'm holding.
Where you're going through a storm and you don't know where the answer is and when it's going to come.
My Lord.
That was where I was, left away
My Lord.
with my wife, 29 years old, and my 8-day-old baby.
8-day-old.
Laying in the hospital with a report from the doctor that said she's dead. Count her out, throw in the towel, and give it up.
Glory to God.
See, but something else I find about this story from Daniel.
Yes, Lord.
Not only is there a decree that comes, that bad situation, that trouble that comes that you face, not only is there a decree, but I find in this story there is the king's distinction.
Amen.
Verse 16 says, the king said to Daniel, "May your God,
Your God.
whom you serve faithfully and continually, deliver you."
Your God.
And then again in verse 20, as he runs to the mouth of the lion's den, he says, "Has your God,
Your God.
Hallelujah.
whom you constantly serve, been able to deliver you?"
Yes, Lord.
See, there was this impossible situation